it has been tested in those times.
Yeah.
And our society was highly evolved in each and every aspect. Therefore, I have mentioned about the Ram Rajya also. What is Ram Rajya? Where nobody is poor, everybody has a prosperity. Second, law and order is maintained. Everybody is educated. There is no thief. And health system is so well that infant mortality rate and widows are not happening. Everybody look after. This is the Ram Rajya. Any society, not only Hindu, any society, anywhere in the world can apply this sutra that will make their society, country better.
Namaste to everyone. Today at Sangam Talks, we have with us Swami Vigyananand ji. Swamiji is the Joint General Secretary of Vishwa Hindu Parishad and the Chairman and Founder of World Hindu Foundation, which organizes the World Hindu Congress. Swamiji's upcoming book is titled The Hindu Manifesto, and today he's here with us at the Sangam Talks. Welcome, Swamiji.
Namaste.
And it was great to listen about your new book, The Hindu Manifesto. And listening to the title itself, it sounds very unique because the title says a lot of things that needs to be followed as such. So what are your opening remarks about your book?
See, जब मैं गुरुकुल में पढ़ रहा था, संस्कृत पढ़ रहा था, तो मैं शास्त्रों को जब पढ़ा तो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि शास्त्रों में जो ज्ञान है हर विषय में, मैं केवल अध्यात्म की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. जनरली इंप्रेशन क्या है कि हिंदू केवल अध्यात्म की बात करता है, मोक्ष की बात करता है, फिलॉसफी की बात करता है. तो उसमें जो ज्ञान पड़ा था वो हर जो आज के ज़माने में बहुत कंटेम्पररी रिलेवेंट है हर फील्ड में, चाहे इकॉनमी हो, एजुकेशन हो, डिफेंस हो, सिक्योरिटी हो, पॉलिटिक्स हो, डेमोक्रेसी हो, वीमेन हो, सोशल सिस्टम हो, नेचर हो, हर विषय पर पर्याप्त सामग्री बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से थी. See, when I was doing my study at Gurukul about our Shastra, then I understand the knowledge content in the Shastra is very contemporary, very relevant to the modern society. Either you can talk about economy, education, defense, security, politics, democracy, everything was very relevant. So it was in my mind that time will come, I will write a book on this subject. But again, when doing a study in Gurukul, I realized that Rishi has a one tradition. They used to write those days, that is in sutra style and sloka style. In sutra style means in a small sutra, major knowledge is contained. So what I did, I identified 8 sutra from the Shastra, and those sutra divided in 2 groups. First 4 sutra is a foundational sutra and last 4 sutra is civilization sutra, First 4 sutra is Dharmasya Moolam Artha, which I translated in English, prosperity for all. Whole idea is this: Hindu thought want everybody should be prosperous. We don't want people to be poor, And in our thought process, we have never condemned poverty, but we have never celebrated poverty, So first sutra is on that. Second sutra is Satrun Jaya Praja Raksha. Once you have economy, then you need to protect your boundary, protect your country and protect your citizen. So sutra is Satrun Jaya Praja Raksha. Defeating enemy, defending citizen. Means your defense should be capable of defeating the enemy, not only just defending the enemy. Defending the citizen comes second. First is defeating the enemy. Third part is Nasti Vidya Samam Chakshu. Again, it is from Mahabharata, quality education for all. It provides that every education should be affordable, quality education available to everybody, Fourth sutra is very interesting. I will tell you the background. Is Avishraman Lok Tantra Adhikara from Shakuntalam, Abhigyan Shakuntalam, How this sutra has come, the discussion point when Gautami, the wife of Kanava Rishi and some of the brahmachari took Shakuntala to the Dushyant Darbara palace, The moment they reached to the palace or the court was over, means the running court of Dushyant was over. Dushyant went to just rest. So Kanchuki, or you can say receptionist, replied, "Oh, you came just now, then the court is over. Court is over now. King has gone for rest." But again, same Kanchuki is telling, Avishram Loktantra Adhikar, this is your right. In a lok karya, in a public service, king has no rest, he will come back.
Come back, yes.
He will come immediately, So that is the thing. So I put it there. Our democracy is not like a Western democracy. Just you are elected for 5 years, 4 years, and you can loot and plunder and exploit the society. Always you are accountable and responsible.
Responsible.
So this is responsible democracy. So these are the 4 foundational sutras. So any society, not only Hindu, any society anywhere in the world can apply this sutra, that will make the society, country better. Then after four foundational sutra, after 4 sutra is civilization sutra. First sutra is Agra Eti Uyuti Haryana from Rigveda, means highest respect for women. How you measure a civilization? How you treat your women, that is mentioned there, all from the Shastra. 6th sutra is Ek Varnas Tada Lokya, non-discriminatory social system, It is again from the Mahabharata, This is discussion happening between Nahush and Yudhishthira. From there is mentioned, there was a time, there was a Varna system in our, in Adikal, there was no Varna system and Jati system. Now, there is Jati Varna system now. But in future, there will be no Jati Varna system. So on that basis, I wrote that chapter. 7th sutra is from Shanti Mantra Yajurveda, Sarvam Shanti, care for nature, And 8th sutra is from Atharvaveda, Mata Bhumi Putroham Pratibha, Mata Bhumi, respect for the land means patriotism. So this is how the book is structured like that,
That's very interesting, Swamiji. Swamiji, today when we see the Indian education system, we have methodology and framework that is largely borrowed from the Western nomenclatures. So at this instance, how important it is to get back to our Hindu Shastras or Hindu scriptures and take the gem values systems from our Shastras, and how do we imbibe it into the modern academic situation?
See, here I will tell you the problem is that all the knowledge is contained in the Shastra, which is relevant to the modern, and the Western fellows are teaching indirectly, directly, putting as a methodology, Unfortunately, what is happening, we are teaching just like a philosophy, If you see, there is a methodology. In our Shastra, in Vyakran, of Panini, there is a methodology. In our Sahitya, there is a methodology. In our Nyaya, there is a methodology. In Vedanta and Mimamsa, there is a methodology. These are all methodology. What is needed now to understand those methodology and to understand those methodology and bring those methodology to practice in our syllabus and teach them as a theory, as a methodology to the modern student in you can undergraduation, post-graduation, on PhD. That is very important, And coming to this is the whole purpose of the book, If you talk about the Dharma Samulam Artha, prosperity for all. First, I have put up how our ancestor has given importance to the wealth creation, Why wealth creation is important, Then for wealth creation, what is important? First, a state policy framework is important. Law and order is important. Third, you need to respect the wealth creator, You need to respect and protect the wealth creator. You need to respect the farmer, And at one place it mentions Gomino Dhaninaschi Paripalya, A state should look after the wealth creator, means businessman, industry or entrepreneur and farmer. Sometimes when they are in distress, a state need to support them. And vice versa. When sometimes a state is in distress, these people, society need to also support them. Even in international trade is mentioned. When something which is not in your country, you should import and given the relaxed taxation system. And on the taxation, I will tell you very important, This is, I am talking about the 5,000 years ago. First consider, cost of the material, cost of transportation, manufacturing cost, use of technology. sale of the product, and considering these, how businessmen will survive. Consider all these factors, then taxes should be imposed,
जी.
So you can see this is how elaborate. At one place, in the same they have written, this is from the Shastra. Sattvam hi moolam arthasya, Sattvam hi moolam arthasya. How you create wealth, and for what is important, Sattvam means courage. Risk-taking capability is the source of wealth creation, This is what is written in the modern economics, At one place, Lakshmi herself is telling, Na akarmani bashami, those who are lazy fellow, alsi fellow, I don't dwell in there, Means for economy and wealth creation, you need to do the hard work, And agriculture at one place, agriculture should not be dependent on the rain. So you need to create water tank, big, small talab, reservoir, so that agriculture is protected, taken care, because water is very important. So these are the things written there, And this is how I present it in the book. The purpose of this book is, and finally, what they are talking, what is the whole purpose of the wealth creation? Purpose of the wealth creation, two things. As per Dharma, create wealth.
Yeah.
As per Dharma, fulfill your desire. Then Moksha is byproduct.
Moksha is byproduct, yeah.
Therefore, it is called Trivarga, Dharma, Artha, Kaama. Moksha is not in Trivarga. Moksha is a byproduct, At one place, which I mentioned, what is the aim of the whole wealth creation, Which I call the Hindu philosophy of wealth creation. Aim of the wealth creation. Satahasta Samahara Sahasrahasta Sankira. Create wealth with 100 hands, serve with 1,000 head. In many places, people ask me, when I was in Bangkok in one of the conferences, they asked me, what is the difference between Hindu philosophy and other philosophy of wealth creation? I told, capitalistic philosophy only talk about the creation of wealth, but they talk about accumulation of wealth. They don't talk about sharing of the wealth. Socialistic principle only talk about this distribution of wealth, Hindu philosophy first talk creation of wealth and then sharing of the wealth. Means create wealth with 100 hands, share with 1,000 hands. That is the whole principle,
Okay. Swamiji, when you quoted 8 sutras, which transforms into the 8 manifestos of the book. So could you give it a framework by comparing it with Dharma, Artha and Kaama? Because all our engagements in the Hindu philosophy is for the realization of Dharma, though the process could be different. So how would you see the sutras? Since you said the first 4 sutras have
foundational
sutras, how do you link that with Dharma and the next 4 with Artha?
See, therefore I told you the first sutra talk about Dharma symbol of the economy, economy with the wealth, Dharma, economy is rooted in the Dharma, and they are not separate from the Dharma.
Yeah.
Economy is not separate from the Dharma. So first comes Dharma with Artha. And talking about the education is also part of Dharma. That is very important part, What is happening, but present time, we are not educating people. We are giving information. So our is Vidya. Our is Vidya. Knowledge with the value. Knowledge with the sanskara. Therefore, in Shastra says, Chaturbhi prakare vidya upyukta bhavati. Knowledge is gained from the 4 type, First, learn from your teacher, Agam Kalena. That is called Agam Kalena. Then Swadhyaya, self-learning. Again, third is teaching. Then 4th is a practice. Then you will learn. So again, it is part of Dharma. On teaching, that time they told, this is 5,000 years ago. Minimum 30 years you should study. Or they say at least 25 years you should study. If you are not able to study 25 years, half of that, 12 and a half years. But they say minimum 6.5 years you must study. That is how our educational framework is deeply rooted in Vidya. Then third is coming to the politics, Politics is also based on Dharma, and our Acharya said politics is the biggest Dharma, Raj Dharma, At Mahabharata, Sarve Vidya Rajdharme Shukta, Sarve Loka Rajdharme Srupurushta, Sarve Dharma Rajdharme Pradhanayatha, Sarve Pada Hastipati Nimagna. Ki all the knowledge of the world is intertwined with the knowledge of the politics. Without the knowledge of politics, all the knowledge is incomplete. Sarve vidya Rajdharmesu. Sarve loka Rajdharmesu pravistha. This Rajdharma has intended all the places, every places, no? Sarve loka Rajdharme pradhana. This Rajdharma is dominating dharma. It control, regulate, moderate all other dharma. Sarve dharma Rajdharma pradhana. Yatha sarve pada hasti pade nigmada. Like elephant feet, all the legs is, so it control, regulate, monitor all the dharma. Therefore, it is supreme dharma. And here I have mentioned in my book, here we must remember, we have to come out from this mantra syndrome, you know. What is mantra syndrome? Mantra wrote in about mantra, Tulsidas Ramayana, Tulsidas is writing. There is an incident that when the Bhagwan Ram Rajya Abhishek was declared, and this news was given to Kaikeyi by mantra.
Okay.
On Bhagwan Ram Rajya Abhishek will be happening. Kaikeyi, like any other mother, happily she removed her, you know, bangle, gold bangle, and gave in the go. You gave me a good news. She told, you don't understand, you know. Whoever will become king, you know, or prince, like Rama Bharat is not going to change my status. Yeah. I will remain a servant, you know, dasi. So I always tell we have to overcome this mantra syndrome. We have to follow our Shastra, that is Mahabharata, you know. Sarve Vidya Rajdharme Shukta. We Hindus should become master of this art, you know. Therefore, you can say many countries, many places, we are significant number, but we are not in decision making. And in Bharat, many places you can say, we are practicing people, going temple, doing puja, but anti-Hindu fellows are ruling the states, you know. Yeah. This is all because we are not politically aware of that, you know.
So since you said, talk about politics, beyond Bharat, we have a multipolar world. And how do you see the Hindu Manifesto being accepted by the world? And how do you see it as a global framework for humanity?
Yeah. See, in the fourth chapter, fourth sutra, Avishram Loktantra Dika, which I mentioned, first I mentioned the importance of politics. How politics is important, how politics is supreme, how politics regulate, monitor, control everything. Second, I have mentioned head of a state, election of the head of a state, you know, is mentioned there, you know. Okay. And quality of the head of a state, quality of head of a state, quality of ministers, these are all given there, you know. And those who are not qualified to be minister, they should not be the minister. That also I have mentioned in there, you know. And more important, Republican state, you know, is also mentioned. Ganasangha, in Ganasangha, and our framework is all democracy. Not only democracy, Republican, where each and everybody takes part in the decision making. So Ganasangha is also mentioned, very elaborate mention. And all those framework is useful for modern time. Better, the references which I have given is better than any modern democracy anywhere in the world. If present society apply those principles, then the political system will be much better.
Because it is holistic, sustainable.
Yeah. So what I did, each chapter which I wrote is all universal.
Okay.
All universal.
Yeah.
Anywhere anybody can apply this knowledge. Even if Saudi Arabia, if try to and implement this Hindu Sutra Hindu Manifesto in their country, Saudi Arabia will be much better. Iraq, Iran will be much better. Pakistan will be much better. America, Europe will be much better. Okay. But behind this each chapter there is appendix.
Okay.
So what I did on the first sutra, Dharma Sumulam Artha, if somebody talks about, you Hindus are talking too much about the economic philosophy, but you are all become poor, you know. We have become poor in the 20th century. So in that, I gave the reference of Angus Madison Index, you know. You can see that is their index, how much we were rich. Second part, second appendix is the summary of the case for India by Will Dura and R.C. the Ramesh Chandra Dutt, the economic history of India. That summary I have given.
Okay.
The second chapter on the Satrunjaya Prajaraksha, again people will, you are talking about so much about your defense. So in that chapter, you know, I have mentioned the quality of the commander, you know.
Okay.
Quality of commander in chief, quality of soldier, armament, a storage of the arms, type of arms. In that time, intelligence, all this is very important. Whole thing. And appendix I have given how in Mahabharata, our army was structured. That also I have given. And also in the another appendix I wrote, why we lost the war, So there is a famous book by the Ram Gopal Misra, Indian Resistance to Early Muslim Invader. And Sitaram Goel wrote, Heroic Hindu Resistance. So summary of that I have given,
Okay.
And education front, about the education, 32 type of Vidya is mentioned there, Even those days, it's not like we were all just doing only religious orthodox,
Yeah.
Even you need to study technology, sciences, art, craft. In philosophy, they mention you need to learn atheist philosophy also, Such a broad 32 type of Vidya I have mentioned there, And after education, a state need to find employment for their qualified people also. And appendix I gave the summary of beautiful tree, how our education system, Dharmpalji, how our education system was destroyed. Fourth, democracy. On that I have given the reference of Hindu politics by Kasi Prasad Jaiswal, how the election of the king was happening those days. And the fifth chapter is on women. Agreti Yuti Haryana. In that I put up the Rig Veda, There are 28 women rishi mentioned in the Rig Veda.
Yeah.
So 25 rishis, 23 rishis, Mahila women rishis are mentioned in the Rig Veda Samhita. And 2 are in Prapataka and Khil Sutra. So 25 rishi mantra I have presented there. Right? Generally, when we used to study, only used to talk, but nowhere mantra was. So I put up there as an appendix. 6th sutra is
Non-discriminatory
social system. So in that first, I wrote that in our society there was no discrimination based on caste, varna, caste, jati, gender, jati. So in the, I have explained, I have explained here, what is the meaning of varna in our, from the grammatical perspective from ancient time. What is the meaning of jati? What is the meaning of jatiye? Jati is not by birth. Unfortunately, part is that jati is akriti jati lingakhya. Shastra say akriti jati lingakhya means once you say cow, then image is coming in your mind. That is how the jati is there. And the problem happened, next sutra is there in a Nyaya Darshan, Saman Praswatimka Jati. The people have misunderstood totally. Praswa means they have thought about the birth, but in Shastra explained clearly. Samanam buddha prasuvate. When you say cow, cow, anything in your image comes, so that comes from Samanam buddha prasuvate. It appears in the mind. That is what the jati is. And jatiya, you would know, Bangladesh Jatiya Party, So in that jati word is also constructed. Jatyantach bandhani from the Panini Sutra. In our Panini Sutra, there is a jatiya praninam. There is jati is on for a prani also. Those who are not living beings also there is a jati. Just like, there is saying dhana saskuli. There are 2 type of food, eatable material. But there is a jati also, dhana saskuli.
Yeah.
So here all just like, kala jamun and rasgulla, So this saman jati. There is a cutter, ara and sastri. So they are saman jati, they are ara sastri. So here jati is for shaman swarup, akriti, saman character. And then what is important, I have mentioned that there is a Sanskrit word Jnati. Jnati is for Vansa, Kula, family lineage. Problem happened because of that Vansa, Kula we have used as a Jati. And even in the modern, Gujarati Jnati is translated as a Jati, which is totally wrong. Even in Telugu, Kullumu, they say Kulam, something like that. Kulamulu, something I have written in that. I don't know how much I am corrected on that, but from the source, from the grammar.
It's called as Kulam.
Kulam. But that also has connected with the Jati,
Yeah.
So actually it's a Jnati. Jnati should be Kulam,
Okay.
So that problem I have explained. And I have here given the example, there is all the narratives say that we discriminate Karna because of the Jati. Totally wrong. Karna was living in the Anga, which is present there, northern Bihar.
Yeah.
From there, his father sent him here to Hastinapur for a study. Presently, you can say Gurugram area in the Gurukul of Kripacharya. First teacher was Kripacharya, then Dronacharya, you know. After that, he went to Parshurama. In the Mahabharata, there is a mention, you know, Kripacharya, Dronacharya, Ramacharya, you know. Karna studied from Kripacharya, Dronacharya, Ramacharya, Parshurama. And after education in learning from Dronacharya, Dronacharya asked for Guru Dakshina, you know. He told, go and arrest Drupada. So in that, Karna is also going, you know. Karna is also going. And Kauravas are also going there together. And they failed to arrest Drupada. Drupada defeated them. Then Arjuna went there and he arrested Drupada. That also is mentioned. Even if there was any discrimination when the Draupadi, you know, Draupadi Swambar was happening, Karna also went there. And he failed to lift, you know. These are all bogus things they narrate, she don't want to marry. This is not the historical record, but this is all public, you can say, people talking just like, you know, but that is not the historical record. So everywhere in our society, nowhere anybody was discriminated on the basis of their birth or social status, you know. That also I have given in the whole book.
Okay.
And seventh sutra is on
Care for
women.
nature.
Care for nature. Yeah, this is very important, you know. They mention how mountain is important, river is important, tree is important, you know. I have mentioned, they have mentioned in the village area, which type of tree you should plant, forest, which type of tree to plant. In the last, I have given about the tree description in the Mahabharata, how tree is living entity, which I have wrote in the botanical sense, you know, to understand everybody. And last 8th sutra is Mata Bhumi Putram Pratibhya, means respect for lands, patriotism, you know. First part is, I have mentioned that in present generation of Hindus are descendant of Satyavrat Manu, which is who is our Vaivashvat Manu in this, and this is from Bhagavad Mahapuran, you know. The king is, his name is Rajarshi Dravideswar Satyavrat. He is a Satyavrat Manu, you know. He is Rajarshi, he is a Dravideswar, he is from the south.
From the south?
He is from the south, so we are all his descendant. From that sense, you can say from that descendant, we are all Dravida, you know.
Okay.
These so-called hawks of the Aryan Dravidian is all completely bogus, created by a politician, you know. Because Dravid word is a geographical term, you know. People across the Vindhyan side, you know, or across the Narmada side. Therefore, Marathis are the first Dravida. Therefore, Marathi Brahmins still have a Dravid surname. And these Tamil Nadu fellows talking about Dravida, you will not find a Dravid word in the Tamil literature. Nowhere. I challenge anybody. If anybody can mention Dravid word in Tamil literature.
Not even Sangam?
No, not in nowhere. Dravid word is a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit word means people living across the Vindhyan mountain. Like we have a Panch Dravida.
Peninsula kind of.
Not peninsula, you can say, because this was mountain, a Deccan mountain, you know, if you start, so across the Vindhyan mountain, you know, or across the Narmada, that area. So we have a Panch Dravida or Panch Sapta Dravida, you know. Panch Dravida means Tamil, Malayalam, Kannada, Telugu, Marathi. These are Panch Dravida. And Sapta Dravida, you can say Konkana, and these are Gujaratis are also part of Dravida. Part of Gujarat also comes under the Dravida. Not only we have Dravida, we have Panch Gauda also. Not this Karnataka Gauda. We have Panch Gauda means east. Anga, Banga, Kalinga, Magadhan, Kamrup. This is Panch Gauda. Gauda means east.
Okay.
Dravida means south. Gauda means
east.
East. So that grouping is Panch Gauda. Anga means northern Bihar. Banga means Bengal. Anga, Bang, Kalinga means Odisha. Kamrup means northeast Assam, Anga, Banga, and Magadh means central Bihar. So that is that area. So that is a region specific. Therefore, you can say even in present day, these ISKCON people say that we are Gaudiya Vaishnava. Gaudiya Vaishnava is Gaudadesh.
Okay.
There was an ancient city also is no more, all destroyed the Islamic period. So that also I have mentioned. And I have mentioned from Mahabharata, geography of Bharat, the Janpad of Bharat. South, north, eastward, all the Janpad of Bharat, even how our ancestors were ruling, I have mentioned the geography of the Mandhata, even Africa, China, they were all part of the Bharat, and they were under the Mandhata. This is only a specific I have mentioned there. I have mentioned the rivers, mountain of all the Bharat, so in that chapter. And as appendix, I have given the
case studies.
From this Bhumi Shukta, I have presented. I forget to tell you in the sixth sutra, to mention about the appendix. There I gave appendix from the 3 books. There is a case, Caste of Mind by Nicholas Dirk, who was the president of the University of California, Berkeley, So his book I gave summary, how he narrated the caste is a Western origin. Then S.L. Balgangadhar, students and the follower, they wrote a book on caste.
Heathen in his...
Heathen Nut, there is another book on caste.
Okay.
Therefore, Sufia Pathan and this our London professors, I'm missing his name, Shah. And there are 3-4 European, they wrote a book on caste. So I gave the description, that summary from their perspective, caste has a Christian origin. Then Case Lal book, I presented the summary, growth of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe in medieval India. That also I have presented in the book.
Okay. Swamiji, a lot of facts, logic, concepts has gone in creating these 8 sutras.
Yeah.
And modern texts, modern sources, modern primary sources has been used to match the sutras.
Yeah.
So if you could slowly go into the primary sources which you used in picking these sutras. For example, Mahabharata.
Yeah,
Kautilya.
my primary source is Mahabharata, largely Mahabharata, Valmiki Ramayana, Kautilya Arthashastra, Shukranitisar. These are the primary source,
Okay.
And I have given reference from the Atharvaveda, Rigveda, and very little from Yajurveda, Whole idea was that because Ved mantras are more mystical mantra, I don't want to complicate. These slokas are very simple, Mahabharata say everything is contained, so I presented there.
Okay. The second sutra talking about defeating enemy and defending citizens. What does it talk also about Shatru Bodha?
See, very clearly, very clear, unfortunately part, the wisdom of Rishi is totally ignored in our society. Therefore, we have lost. Therefore, we suffered. Because we forget who is the enemy and how we are going to deal with the enemy. Ram Gopal Mishra book mention a specific that we were defeated by Islamic not because we were weak.
Yeah.
We lost because we were not crooked. In that sense, we forget to treat our enemy as a enemy. And we were treating our enemy like a tournament friendly fight. But when the enemy defeated us, they eliminated and destroyed us. Same thing I have put up there. Satru Bodh is very clearly mentioned, Mahabharata, and I gave the Kiratarjuniam reference al Bhavanti te moodha diya barabham bhavanti e maya vishnu maina. Those who are destroyed, if they don't deal with their enemy, like enemy, you have to become Mayavi, bigger Mayavi to Mayavi. So Satru Bodh is very clearly mentioned there.
Okay.
And this Satru Bodh we have lost in modern time because we are only talking about the goody thing of Dharma. This goody thing of Dharma is only for our, when you are dealing with the enemy, you have to deal with both strongly. We need to destroy the enemy, go to their enemy home and destroy them. Home or in their area, region or territory.
So how do you see the modern India from the perspective of Shatru Bodha? Are we really aware of our Shatru Bodha externally? Or are we aware of our Shatru Bodha?
Unfortunately, these all thing comes from the education, both sides, formal and informal. Formal education is not talking about the Shatru Bodha, who is our enemy. Yeah. And informal education created by our Pandit, Brahman, Kathakar, Pravachan, they also don't talk about that. Therefore, our society is struggling, And still we are living the same Sadgun Brikriti age, So we have to come out from that,
Okay.
That is Therefore, in the Hindu Shastra, this Hindu Manifesto, everybody should buy this book, study this book, and have a regular discussion. The material is so much. The book is completely based on Shastra. Only I have just translated and wrote commentary and explained that.
Swamiji, I believe, because on reading the synopsis of your book, I strongly felt this book is all about Dharma.
Yeah.
My question to you is, how do you connect Dharma, Swadharma and Karma?
No. This book is not just, his book praises is Dharma,
Yeah.
In Hindu understanding, everything which we are doing right thing should be based on Dharma.
Yeah.
So Dharma is not just somebody is sitting in the gufa doing pranayama is Dharma. Yeah. Somebody is doing temple puja is Dharma. Yeah. Economy, wealth creation is also Dharma. Dhanat dharmam tata sukham. I have given in the original sources. Dhanat sarvati dharma. Dharma flow out of the wealth. So economy is also related to Dharma. Defense is also related to Dharma. That is also your Dharma. To defeat enemy, protect your citizen, safeguard your boundary, have a friends, identify the weakness of your enemy is also Dharma.
Okay.
Educating your citizen, public in a good quality education is also Dharma. Managing your state, managing your law and order, is also Dharma. Safeguarding women is prime Dharma. I have gave the sutra. What is how you measure the gold standard law and order? When a young woman, a beautiful woman, adorned with all the jewels and jewelry, travel and move alone in your estate freely. That is the gold standard, So this is again Dharma. Protecting women, respect to women is Dharma. I have mentioned in the book. Istri avadya, in any case, women should not be killed. So in Samaj Vyavastha, जिसको कहते हैं, you can non-discriminatory society, treating all your citizens, rich, poor, is also Dharma. In that I have mentioned, a state should take care of the widows and the lame duck, You can say in a Narendra Bhai language, Divyang, poor, destitute. A state should take care without discrimination. That also I have mentioned. So that is also Dharma. Taking care of the nature is biggest Dharma, because we are living in that society, and the respect for the land where we are living. This is the beauty, Hindu, wherever we have gone, anywhere in the world, we have contributed to that land in economy, science, technology, innovation. So this whole book is Dharma. But Dharma is not just, this is what I am clarifying, Dharma is not just about only doing tan puja, that I have explained clearly.
So, Swamiji, in that case, then where does Swadharma stand here? Because one's understanding of Swadharma is linked with one's karma.
No. First you have to understand this is the principle.
Yeah.
And that principle applied to individual also.
Okay.
As an individual, as a society, as a nation. So that is our Swadharma.
Okay.
And then to understand Dharma, then understand Swadharma, then you have to perform, very well written, said by our Sri Aurobindo, in past. The country whose young men are inspired by glory of past. Pain of present, dream for future, move them path of progress. You have to get inspiration and realize what is your Dharma and Swadharma. Pain of present, you have to do the karma. Then you will move on the path of progress.
So, this book, it gives really good insights which has not so far been explored.
No, let me tell you very, very frankly, I am not just boasting. I have not come out through any book where in such a structured way all the knowledge which is relevant for the modern society kept at one place.
Yeah.
So nobody has attempted, and many people have written little here and there. Some references here and there, but not as a structure at one place.
So can we say that the Hindu Manifesto defines the fundamental duties as a citizen?
No, Hindu Manifesto defined fundamental duty as a citizen, as a state also.
Okay.
As a society also, as a collective responsibility also. Okay. This is not a book for only individual. It is for society, as a nation and civilization collectively.
Okay.
As a nation also you want to progress, you need to apply. You, as a civilization, beyond the boundary also you need to apply. As a society also you want to progress, move forward, it apply. As an individual also it apply.
How does Swami Vigyananda's The Hindu Manifesto challenge Karl Marx Communist Manifesto?
See, Communist Manifesto read, this is a small book, and in that summary is a 10 point of the Karl Marx. These are the point which he has mentioned in the book. And unfortunately, Karl Marx promoted this as a theory,
Economic theory.
Economic theory, But that economic theory completely failed in the 70 year of the experiment. And he made society worst,
Yeah.
He must have a good intention, but what he was writing was never proven. And because of his application of the Marxist theory, China, Russia suffered, Eastern Europe, so many countries suffered, and still larger generation is influenced and suffering because of the so-called Marxist influence. Academicians across the world are destroying the society in the name of their theory, you can say critical theory, hegemony theory. These are all Marxist theory, and they have a many offshoot, So they are completely failed, And what I am presenting here is a time-tested knowledge,
System,
and it can apply and improve the quality of human life for individual, society, nation. So this is the difference. And I'm not talking about that. People should test. This is the wisdom, tested wisdom. I can tell you taxation. The taxation means never you take taxation more than 16%. Now the world is trying to rationalize, and the essential commodity taxation should not be lesser than that. Maximum taxation should be 16%. So this is all applicable. So this is totally different,
Okay.
One has destroyed the society, taken backward also, and one is going to take you much forward and make you much better as an individual, society, nation, and civilization.
Yeah. So we can say that your book is a culmination of experiments, what has happened in India, in Bharat for the last several thousands of years.
Yes.
It's a culmination. It's a theoretical culmination.
Not theoretical culmination. It has been tested in those times.
Yeah.
And our society was highly evolved in each and every aspect. Therefore, I have mentioned about the Ram Rajya also. What is Ram Rajya? Where nobody is poor. Everybody has a prosperity. Second, law and order is maintained. Everybody is educated. There is no thief. And health system is so well that infant mortality rate and widows are not happening. Everybody look after. This is the Ram Rajya.
Yeah.
And if you apply all those principles, everybody state will be improving. And this is all tested method. Ram Rajya is not something superficial imagination. This is all practical. The basic practical thing is economy. Everybody should have a good living. Economy, education, healthcare, security, law and order. And those who are destitute, they should be taken care. Infant mortality is not there. Widow is not there. There is no thief. This is what Ram Rajya is. Even mentioned there is no like a big disease like that, what is called viral diseases or now like a bacterial diseases, all those things. I don't know. I am not a medical person. The diseases are also not there.
Your closing remarks about the book.
My closing remark for book is I am requesting all those Hindu who want to be part of Hindu Renaissance movement, resurgence movement in the Bharat, they should study this book. And also, this book is now in English. I will translate later on in Hindi, and then I will translate in other language also. People should read this, and I am requesting them to set up different places, study classes. They should study, because this is the essence of all the Shastra, which is applicable to the modern society. Yeah. And for outside Hindu society, I am requesting they should also read this book and understand this is timeless wisdom of rishis presented to the modern society. If they utilize and apply this knowledge, it will help them also to improve their society also.
Swamiji, on behalf of Sangam Talks, my best wishes to your upcoming book, and I really pray that your book reach towards everyone who is working for Dharma. Thank you very much for your
नमस्ते,
time.
धन्यवाद.